everybody, it's Spencer. I just wanted to talk about today's partner who is helping us produce shows all through the classic season, and it's Join Cycling. Join is the #1 cycling tool that sets you up with dynamic and flexible training plans based on your goal, availability, and training history. All you have to do is go download the Join Cycling app, and you can get a month free if you're a Beyond the Peloton listener at join.cc/campaign/beyond-the-peloton, or just follow the link in the show notes and you'll get 30 days of the app for free. It's a fantastic app. I've been using it to help get myself in shape for the summer season. All you have to do is enter your current fitness, what you want to achieve, and how long in the future you want to achieve it, and Join will auto-generate workouts for you every day, and they'll do running or cycling. So if you say, well, I'm traveling, I travel a lot for the show, for the newsletter, and all I have to do is say, well, I don't have time for a ride, just give me a 30-minute run, and it will just go back into the back end, crunch some numbers, throw me a 30-minute run workout. I'm also notoriously bad with coaches. I don't respond to authority well, but the Join training plans are easy for me to follow, and I feel like I'm getting a lot out of it. Enjoy the episode. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Beyond the Peloton podcast. I'm the host, Spencer Martin, of the Beyond the Peloton newsletter. I'm here with my co-host, Andrew Vance, the Choose a Hard Way podcast and newsletter. But we also have a special guest, as is tradition that I just remembered yesterday. Jonathan Kaplan from Riding With is here to preview the Giro d'Italia, which starts Friday in Albania. That's not confusing at all. And guys, how are we feeling? Andrew, you want to plug anything before we get going?
Yeah, I know that you read Spencer's newsletter, Beyond the Peloton. If you look on his recommendations, my Substack, alwaysthehardway.substack.com, is on there. Please click subscribe. And you know what? If you are a C-level executive, pro athlete, or politician, you're probably a good communicator. And I bet you're using AI to do a lot of things. But there's one thing that AI cannot do for you. It's what we're doing right now, which is getting on a microphone. And increasingly, it's an extremely important part of your job if you're one of the people I just described. That's why I started One Real Voice. It's the strategic podcast consultancy that coaches you to be a great guest or host. You can reach out to me at hello@onerealvoice.com or DM me at hardwaypod. And I've got links to all my stuff on my Instagram page where I'm changing the world. So reach out. Would love to help you. And it's great to be here and to have JK in the house, the man behind the scenes, the Kaiser Sose of Washington, D.C., the deal maker. Here he is. Jonathan, great to have you on the mic, man. And
Thank you.
Be sure to follow Jonathan's Substack as well, Riding with JK. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. And if you go to the Riding With newsletter at ridingwithkaplan.substack.com, you can read about the intersection of professional cycling, media, business, culture. And I think the biggest story that I just wrote, which I'm kind of chagrined about and disappointed in, but the old saying, if it bleeds, it leads, is the tragic death of Australian cyclist Melissa Hoskins, who died after an altercation over kitchen cupboards with her husband, Rohan Dennis, one of the most accomplished cyclists in recent years. He's about to be sentenced on May 14th. So we're going to watch that. He could get up to 7 years in prison. And I'm currently negotiating with a judge in Australia to get the victim impact statements. So if you're in the courtroom, you could listen to her family, read about in great detail what happened. And two of the victim impact statements on behalf of Rohan Dennis, one comes from Chelsea Craddock, who's the wife of Lawson Craddock, and Adam Hansen, who basically runs what is ostensibly the pro cycling union. So we're going to be watching that story and hopefully have more to say about it. And, in the near future, as both you guys know, I'll have more to say about a new venture after June 30th.
And thanks for sharing that, JK. And for everyone who's been following the tragic Rohan Dennis situation with his family and his deceased wife, Jonathan has done real reporting and is breaking news. And this is information that has not been seen anywhere else, to my knowledge. So if you're interested in that story, Jonathan, to my knowledge, is the only journalist. Jonathan is an actual journalist in the world who has that. So definitely check that out in his newsletter. Jonathan, typically this would cost you between $10,000 and $50,000, but I'm going to go ahead and upgrade you right now. Your mic is a little bit hot. All right, here we are. Spencer, Giro d'Italia, what's going on? Guys, the thing that's on my mind, I was thinking about this while I was walking Dusty this morning, trying not to get run over out on Barnestown Road here in Hope, Maine. I think some of the headlines, weather, right? Weather,
Could be
route,
weather, yeah.
weather, route, injuries. And then what about transfers? What are we looking like transfer-wise at this Giro? I mean, and then we can talk about the actual talent. And of course, I think one of the most interesting things in recent days, Tom Pidcock, who has told us that he wants to win stage races after leaving Ineos, where he said he didn't want to win stage races and wanted to just win. That's what he likes doing, which I understand. Then he
race
said,
hard every day, which famously is how you win stage races, right?
Right. And then said he wanted to win classics, I believe. He wanted to win Milan-San Remo. I just watched the video about that last night, which is awesome. I like champions who go after everything. In a recent interview, now said, no, he doesn't want to win the Giro. He just wants to go out and race hard every day and win. I don't know what to make of this, but
then he said stage 1, which is damn near perfect for him. It finishes on a descent. And he's like, nah, I don't think it's a good stage for me. I'm not going to win it. It's like, what are you talking about?
I also heard an interview with him yesterday, and I was jumping around in the Pidcock oeuvre, so I don't know what specifically he was talking about, but he said something that I think I've heard Kip say this before. Kip, I know you're out there. We've been talking about electronic music on the side. We've all said it. I don't think this race is hard enough for me.
Yeah, that is the main problem for most of these guys. It's just not hard enough. 52,000 meters of climbing. It's just not going to be there.
I like something with a little more vert, you know? Yeah, I wanted to be a Traka, actually. I think that's more my speed.
There is a cyclist, I will not say their nationality, who would always say they'd be like, yeah, that climb just wasn't good for me. Like, what are you talking about? It's like, it's just not hard enough. It's 20K long at 8%. It's just, that's an explosive climb. It's not good for me. It's like, what is going on here?
Mount Lemmon had the length that I like, but not quite steep enough. I need a kicker in there just to create some separation from Spence and JK at the training camp.
You need 20% for 15 kilometers, but then that's too steep,
Yeah, I needed a Ram 3500 to drive down the mountain. I couldn't have a 2500 that someone smoked a blunt in halfway up the mountain,
I never heard about that, by the way. No mention of it from Hertz.
That's great.
We didn't smoke the blunt in it for the record.
Yeah.
Someone broke into our car and smoked a blunt while we were riding Mount Lemmon. Just clear that up. But
is it true?
It is. We do suspect that to be true. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I left it unlocked. I guess that's my fault. You're cruising for bruising, right?
You don't get a lot of derelicts that have made their way 4,000 feet up a mountain that don't have their own vehicle to smoke a blunt in. And also,
why would you smoke a blunt in your own vehicle? And it was windy that day, so they had to hide in someone else's vehicle. But Giro d'Italia starts on Friday. Just get it out of the way up top. It's on Max if you live in the United States. Right. You're saying, "Oh, this is great. How do I watch this?" It's on Max. So if you don't have Max, if you're not rewatching Succession every night, I don't know what to tell you. So get your Succession rewatch in. Watch this race. Stage 1. Well, we should say I guess I should do quick course overview maybe. Starts in Albania for 3 stages. All pretty good. Punchy stage 1. Time trial, stage 2. We're right into it. Hilly, probably sprinty stage on stage 3. Then boom, rest day on Monday. Right when we're getting our momentum, boom, rest day. They got to take a flight or ferry, ?
Ferry, I think so.
To Italy. And then you go into this. This is not my favorite thing about the Giro d'Italia. I'm going to say they get into this malaise here where you're flat, flat, flat. You get some little summit finishes at the end of the first week. And then not Andrew. Jonathan's going to love stage 9, just like the Tour de France gravel stage. Right. It's going to be good. Rest stage, come out, time trial. This is the dog days of the Giro right here. It's time trial, hills, flat. You have one mountain stage in the second week. No thanks, man. Go on vacation, everybody, during that week. And then rest day. And then the final week in classic Giro d'Italia fashion, like maybe one of the hardest weeks in professional cycling I've ever seen. So stage 16 is like almost 20,000 feet of climbing, summit finish. Stage 17, mountain stage. Stage 18, flat stage. Stage 19, mountain stage. Stage 20, another absurdly hard mountain stage where they go over the Col de Finestra, which, if that sounds familiar, that's where Chris Froome attacked in 2018 and won the Giro. His last pro win, by the way. Holy smokes. Finish in Rome. As Andrew was asking about, long flight to Rome, but they won't care. They'll be having a good time. 7 mountain stages, 5 flat stages, 7 hilly stages, 2 time trials, 42K of time trialing. Not as much time trialing as usual. And then another thing that's different, not many stages over 200K, which is great. 3 stages over 200K, that is like a 10-year low for the Giro d'Italia. Usually they slap in these like 270K stages. It take 10 hours. It's so boring. So they've learned. We've got some exciting stages. Contenders, Primož Roglič, Juan Ayuso, and then a bunch of people you think would be a contender, but I don't know. I did a show with Johan Bernal yesterday, and I thought we were going to have to delete it because this man, he was just like lining up these hopefuls and mowing them down verbally. I was like, is this even appropriate, Johan? Like, these people have families. He did a good point. He's like, has Mikel Landa ever challenged for a Grand Tour win? I was like an overall win. I was like, I guess no, now that you mention it. Same thing with Adam Yates. Like, you think of him as being good because he got 3rd at the Tour, which is really hard to do. But he's like, has he ever challenged for a win? No, I guess not. Jai Hindley, has he been good recently? No. Timon Arnsman, is that guy any good? No. Simon Yates, we are not even going to talk about him. I was like, oh my Lord, we're going after it. But it is a lot of, you'd say, kind of paper tigers. Like even Richard Carapaz, you're like, whoa, you won the KOM at the recent Tour. He must be good, but he's not really. You have 4th at the Vuelta. So you're like, well, that's pretty good, but he was a long way behind Primož Roglič. Same thing with, we talk about Jai Hindley, recent winner of this race. Egan Bernal, fairly recent winner of this race, but he's like struggling to finish on podiums at stage races. So is he going to come out and win this? My favorite, Derek G, not my favorite, non-favorite, Derek G. But let's not beat around the bush, guys. This is Primož Roglič race to lose. Did you know he's won 5 of the last 7 Grand Tours he's finished? That's absurd. That's like more Grand Tours than the rest of the field has won combined.
You're in telemark country now.
Oh yeah, he could snow too. So it's like perfect for him.
I saw the race does dip into Slovenia at one point.
There is one day that finishes in Slovenia. So we might not get him back.
A nod to my ancestors. Yeah.
Yeah. That explains the watts per kilo, Andrew.
Yeah, absolutely.
From Slovenia.
Correct.
What do you guys, so who do you guys think is going to win, and then what are you most excited about? Andrew, you go first.
I want to make JK's pick. I'm going with JK. JK's picking Derek G. Am I right?
I was going to make him a sleeper pick. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man, this guy's a plant. Yeah, I mean, I love the telemark. I want to see Primož's signature telemark pendant dangling on the podium on the final day in Rome. And that's what I believe we're going to see. He's aggrieved. If this were a Rambo movie, this is like Rambo 4. He's back. I don't know where he is now. I don't know what arena Rambo is in. Rambo is in Rome, and he's on the podium. That's what I see happening. And if you haven't, as I have, and I believe Spencer and Jonathan have, do yourself a favor today. Google Primož Roglič and go to his official website and store and see some of the drip that you can. I'm going to have to pick up a shirt at least.
He's also really funny. Like, a lot of the copy on there is quite funny.
Yeah, it's really good. And there are a lot of kind of like Cinemax late night kind of romantic shots. You know, I don't know how to characterize it. You're just like, wow, this is a little bit racy for a pro cyclist merch page. They're embracing. I don't know. Yeah. So I'm going with Primož. I mean, the things that I'm really most excited about, like, yes, the GC. I am really curious. What are we going to see from Wout?
Well, but we haven't even got to that yet.
I've talked about, how aggrieved Primož is and how he's out for vengeance, but Mads Pedersen, I mean, we know this guy, or at least I strongly suspect he's going to a different team in 2026, snubbed from the Tour team. I just imagine him being absolutely on fire and I'm pretty excited to see what he can pull out. And I want to hear JK's picks. And then, of course, I would love to talk a little bit about this ITT on stage 2 and the situation we just saw in the women's world tour with the UCI commissaires and time trial bikes. JK, go ahead.
First of all, last night my son was at soccer practice and I'm trying to listen to Spencer and Johan on the move, and then I'm watching the team presentation, and for whatever reason Israel Premier Tech was first. And do you guys know Anthony McRossan calls, like, he's the guy at the race. He's not in the studio.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Anthony.
But so he's speaking Italian. I mean, he told me that, but I didn't quite realize it until I saw the team presentation. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see Primoz win. And also, don't you think Primoz looks a lot like a young Ethan Hawke right now? With the beard, that's all I can think of. Like, he looks like Ethan Hawke in Before Sunrise.
Like circa Uma Thurman marriage, when, like, during the good times before
Julie Delpy. Come on,
incident with the nanny. Yeah,
Julie Delpy, even better. No, but so yeah, I mean, you guys dispelled in the show last night. You dispelled every rider I could think of until you got to Derek G. But who I'd like to see on the podium. I mean, he's certainly capable of it. Was it 2 years ago, he got like 4 second places on different stages?
It might have been more than that. I went back and looked at it. I've been like 5 or 6, and he almost won. The most impressive thing about Derek G in that Giro, he's in the break every day, almost wins every stage, and then the hardest stage of the race, stage 19 at the end. No, stage 20? Stage 19, one of those. He's like, gets second by not very, like, he just loses to Petrago. So to be that good 3 weeks into a race, like, he's not young, but he's not been racing road that long. So yeah, I was similarly impressed. Jonathan, he's my sleeper pick as well. He's the only one, because Johan was just like blasting these guys. Like, if they would have done it, if they were the man, they would have shown us they're the man already. Like, no one just gets magically better at Grand Tours, but Derek G's the only one that's improving, other than the man we haven't mentioned, Juan Ayuso.
Are we going to have Mike Woods? Sorry, I haven't looked at the roster. Mike Woods at this tour? Are we going to see him win maybe one of these big climbing stages in the final week?
I would say no, but Mike Woods.
He crashed, didn't he? Wasn't he injured?
Right, he's not in this race.
He's not here. He's not racing.
Okay, so Phantom Mike Woods has a stage win.
He's not going to win a stage
coming at the end of this race. Okay, I'm cruising through the start list. My next question. Go ahead, Spencer.
We should talk about, you mentioned Mads Pedersen.
Yeah.
He's the favorite to win the first stage and the points jersey, by the way, like heavy favorite. We should talk about Wout van Aert, the man that I think this is might be one of the best. The reason they're here, by the way, just to get why are the 2 of the best riders in the world at the Giro d'Italia and not focusing on the tour? Because Wout got paid a ton of money to do the Giro last year and didn't do it because he was hurt. So this is an IOU situation. Mads Pedersen got booted from his team's tour team. They're like, yeah, we're taking Jonathan Milan. We're not taking you to the tour. Debatable if that makes any sense, especially since, I think Alpecin taking Matthew Van Der Poel, Caden Groves, and Jasper Philipsen to the tour. So we have these 2 titans of stage wins here. I think this is sneaky, maybe going to be the best thing. Like, all those boring stages I just kind of glossed over in my preview, those could just be Pedersen Van Aert stage win battles. So that could be quite interesting.
Can I ask a broader question? Is this race going to be more or less exciting without Tadej Pogačar?
Good question.
Well, I think the question is, do you like to see the world's best athlete compete in bike races or not? I think that's your answer. I mean, what is good? To me, good is seeing the world's best athletes at the best races fighting it out. And personally, seeing people destroy everyone else because they're so good doesn't make it less interesting for me. I know there's a lot of chatter out there about how, gosh, that's just not interesting. Really? It's like the greatest human to ever ride a bicycle, and you don't like watching him race? Do you like bikes?
Do you even bike? I mean, just to even dissect this. So
have you been to Valmont?
Even know about the Belgian stairs? Come on. Or the 5280 stairs. Don't forget about those. But I think the Belgian stairs are the less famous one. I don't know. Valmont crew, chime in. Let us know. But the obvious answer would be it's less exciting, more exciting without Tadej. But just as like the more I examine that question, I remember the Giro last year, which he won, and the Tour, which he won so vividly, almost every stage. The Grand Tour, I remember the least is the Vuelta, where he wasn't and was technically a much better race, much more competitive race. So I do think there is something really fun about watching Tadej just stop people. I mean, God, what he was doing at the Giro last year was unbelievable. And then he only got better before the Tour. So I'd say I don't know. I don't think it is more exciting. I wish he was here.
I will say something that I do know I'm going to miss, a presence I will miss at this race. I was reminded last night, I saw a clip, I believe from 2022. It did have Matthew van der Poel in it. And in this clip, a drone hopper rider handed Matthew van der Poel a Coke. And Matthew van der Poel said, thank you. And
this is a dream, correct? This was not an ad?
No, this was a real video. It was a clip from Inside a Race. And it was like, oh, look at this sportsmanship. And it's like, yeah, of course you want to be the guy that hands Matthew van der Poel a Coke.
Give me a team. My team's about to fold.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah. I wanted to get an ID on the rider. I didn't. I'm curious if that person went on to a World Tour team. But I say that because I think, am I going to miss Pog at this race? Yes. Who might I miss more? The presence of the entire drone hopper team, who really, I think, won hearts similar to Eddie the Eagle Edwards, the Olympic ski jumper. Like, without drone hopper, is this even a race?
Well, I've come prepared, as I knew this was going to come up. So we have no drone hopper. We do have Pulte. It used to be Pulte Cometto. Now it's Pulte Visit Malta. I love that team name. We also have VF Group, not the VF Group that's like the famous international company. I think it's like a cement company.
Okay. They're not making shoes. Yeah.
Isn't it funny to think like you could have some team called like Nike and you're like, no, it's like Nike Gravel. And then you dope. And Nike puts Nike in such an awkward position. We're like, oh, why is your team caught in a doping scandal? No, that's Nike Gravel. They're based out of Milan. So we have these two teams. These are two local Italian teams in this race. I'm going to give you some names on here. Well, you have Davide Bice on Pulte. He's going to be in breakaways. He's going to be making stuff happen. But on VF Group, they have a man, Filippo Fiorelli. He's won the GC at the Tour of Albania 2019. Watch out for that guy. He's coming home. He just got fifth at the Giro di Abruzzo. He could be in the mix for stage wins. But there's a guy on Pulte who is like a legitimately good sprinter. Just won the points jersey at the Tour of Turkey, Giovanni Lenardi. Watch out for that guy. He's going to, like, the sprints at the Giro are weird. Like, you get weird winners. There was I forget his name even. He would always win, like, stage 19 of the Giro d'Italia. So we could see a Pulte sprint win. And also Milan Frenton from Cofidis. That guy he's primed to be winning a bunch of stages at this Giro. And you're like, who the heck is Milan Frenton? Not to be confused with Milan Menton, who's also a professional cyclist. Milan is in, but those would be my two. They'll keep us warm at night, Andrew, from the small Italian teams.
And Spencer, I'm sorry, you said one of these gentlemen won the points jersey at the Tour of Turkey?
Yes.
Okay, and do you know, was he paid in cash or hair plugs?
He did get a full refurb up top.
Got it.
On that.
Great.
Yeah.
It's trending right now, just like the word vibes. Hair plugs in Turkey are everywhere.
Well, there's a listener of this show that is considering a trip to Turkey. So
I also have a close friend who recently underwent the treatment. So, we could connect offline about this if you need more info.
I do. I'm totally interested now.
Would you, I mean, this is a bit of a tangent. Would you do, like, would you do it? I guess, like, do you walk around feeling like I need to have the hair back?
Yeah. Given what I used to have, absolutely. Think about it all the time.
Interesting. I guess
I would never do it.
I will say,
I'll just wear the Lauf baseball hat.
The person I know who underwent the treatment, I know we're getting a bit off topic here, but I bet we actually have a lot of listeners who have seen the videos of flights of men going to Turkey for the treatment. And this person that I know who underwent the treatment had not seen all the videos, which I have. And I think my main takeaway was this looks like one of the most painful things that you could possibly undergo as a male. My friend just thought they were, oh, whatever, this is no big deal. Didn't do any research, went in. And then it's like 7 hours. He said they drill into your head for every hair. So he said, imagine having someone take a drill and drill into your head 1,600 times. And the procedure was so long, there was a lunch break.
It's like, it looks
for the doctors or for him?
For him.
Yeah.
Well, they have to harvest the hair and then you have to turn over, and then it gets worse, apparently.
Oof. I'm good, thanks.
All right. So we're a bit off topic. We do have Larry Warbasi at
Larry Warbasi.
I'm upgrading the pronunciation of his name. Warbasi.
But we skipped over Jonathan's pick for the race.
Oh, Jonathan, let's hear it.
No, I'll go with Primoz.
Oh, what the?
You got to pick somebody else. Have you ever done this before?
But this is your chance to look like
biased.
If you say not Primoz, no one will remember it. And then if that person wins, then you look like a genius.
Yeah, right. After last night, listening to the move, I just can't get it out of my head. Like you just like this murderers row lineup. You just like no. I'll go Derek G. I'll go Derek G as the sleeper. Okay,
I like that pick. I like Derek G because, as I said in that show, he's the only one getting better. That's not true. We should mention this man's name. We're gonna be accused of not liking him. Juan Ayuso, 22 years old, on UAE. He's had a really good season. I believe here's the problem. His only loss this year has come to Primoz Roglic. So that isn't great, and he seems to like struggle to put it all together, so to speak. Like he could get lost. He could, maybe just be unhappy with his breakfast and decide not to pedal his bike hard that day. But he's pretty good and he's getting better. So that would be the only rider with like the firepower that I really think could challenge Primoz, setting aside Derek G, of course, but just seriously on Derek G, like it's a Watts game. I feel like people are hesitant to realize this. It's how much power can you put out for how long? And Derek G is one of the only riders that can put out enough power for a long time over 3 weeks. So that would be the case for Derek G.
Spencer, I'm going to retract my pick. As much as I love Primoz, I feel like we need a bit more heat here. And everyone knows I've long been a champion of GC Wout.
He is up there in the KOM jersey class.
Yeah. Listen, unfortunately I can't go all in with GC Wout. What I can do today, because we're at the beginning of the month and I know that you want to drive off the lot with this car today, is I can give you a Simon Yates. So I'm going to go with Simon Yates. And then in addition to that, I'm going to make a prediction, because when I look at the Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe team, which is absolutely stacked, we've got Jan Tratnik.
It is stacked.
Danny Martinez, Jai Henley. I mean, you have 3 people who are potentially could win this race, actually, I think. What happens if we get a Visma 2023 Vuelta situation going on inside the team? Something happens. Is it Jan Tratnik? Who do we see taking the GC for Red Bull if Primoz goes down and does a bit of asphalt surfing?
The boring answer is probably nobody. I mean, here, it looks good, right? Jai Henley, Danny Martinez. Danny Martinez did have he got second here last year. He did have a good Liège. He got 7th. Did not look good at all at Basque Country. So to come into a Grand Tour with not a lot of like recent stage racing success usually does not bode well. But he was
ramping up. He's ramping up.
He would be the guy, probably, Danny Martinez. Jai Henley, little bit of he's like not been bad, like what did he get? 5th at Tirreno, 8th at Tour of the Alps, but just not where he was even when he took that leader's jersey at the Tour. He just doesn't seem to be clicking as he was when he won this race. But yeah, Danny Martinez would be my pick to usurp Primoz. I'm glad you guys are all here. I'm glad you brought that up. I watched it was like an Amazon Holland production inside that Vuelta where Primoz got just stabbed in the back. They just drove a bus over him. Like, I was shocked at I don't know, I'd kind of wiped that from my mind, but Jonas is saying, he's like, yeah, I just wanted to support Sepp. And Sepp's saying, Jonas wanted to support me. Primoz is the one that wanted to race me. And then Jonas is the one attacking almost every stage and taking time. And then Primoz, they don't say it in the documentary, put his whole season around that Vuelta.
Of course he did. He was going to have the record number of wins.
It was shocking rewatching, and it was interesting seeing the inside the car footage. Like, what did they tell us on it was not the Zoncolan, it's the other steep one in Spain, but they're saying that Sepp in the radio was like, "Go guys, go." And then Sepp's like, "Yeah, I didn't know what the hell was going on." And in the team car, they're going, "I wonder what," the quote was, "I wonder what we're going to do here." It's like, well, shouldn't you be the one telling them what to do here? So it seemed like, it was a free for all. I can't believe that happened to Primoz. It looked worse on film than it did in person. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. But yeah, I think Danny Martinez would be the guy to usurp him. Also, he could crash out, so they need a backup.
Wait, but now that I have a VPN, can I watch this documentary?
It's like been released into the wild. It's just on American YouTube.
Oh, it is. Okay.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I do regret some of the things I wrote about that was the 2022 Vuelta, right? Where Primoz,
Wait,
he got screwed.
I think it was the 2023 Vuelta.
2023.
Primoz
Okay.
left.
Yeah. I think I was kind of the loudest voice about Primoz getting screwed and that this was not an equitable situation. So I don't want to break my arm patting myself on the back, but I think I kind of called that one. And as you noted, Spencer, it's on YouTube. Maybe you could throw that up on your Mastodon account for anybody that wants to link Tusk and get the link.
Will do. I mean, and on that, I guess the thing, it's a multifaceted situation where it's like, well, if you want to just give it to Sepp Kuss, that's one thing, but you can't say we're going to give it to Sepp Kuss and then Jonas is just attacking every day and taking time. Well, that's not giving it to Sepp Kuss. If you're Primoz, you're thinking, what the hell is going on here? Like, why am I not allowed to race for it, but Jonas is? Kind of weird if you think about it, but we don't have to relitigate the 2023 Vuelta.
Yeah, let's see how these guys do when they tackle the Traca together in 2027.
We'll get to the Traca. We'll get there.
Spencer, can I ask you about just go back to the route. Typically in the past, you've talked about the Giro being a series of hockey stick stages.
I think that was the Vuelta. The Giro is
okay.
The Giro's a pancake. There's so many stages that are just like so flat, nothing happens. Like, what is going on here?
This year.
I mean, normally I feel like it's worse. I think this is like a far more interesting route than they normally do.
At stage 2, why is it so short? I mean, is that going to create? Yeah, I know, but it's like 13K.
Well, they don't want Primoz to have like a 2-minute lead coming out of stage 2. That'd be kind of boring. Also, time trials are getting shorter. Like, especially Giro time trials. They usually have 2, and one of them's quite short. Like, I'm remembering... No, that was at the Vuelta, where Sepp Kuss did well in the time trial, but it was a short one. The Giro likes short time trials. They like to keep the excitement for later. I mean, it was uphill, but wasn't the one at Giro that Primoz won was like... The last stage was like 18K. It was a time trial, so...
Is that the one where he got the push? No. That was the middle one.
No, that was. And then that race started off with a 19K long time trial as well.
Okay.
So it's a Giro d'Italia thing. I like it. I mean, why are we like blowing out these gaps in these time trials? Like, give us a little gap and then make you guys fight for it.
Yeah, Spencer and Jonathan, I have a question for you. As I'm looking through the roster here, there is one notable name missing. Are you surprised that we don't see Geraint Thomas in his retirement season going for the clean sweep of the Giro, Tour, and Vuelta? Going for
clean.
The 3.
I did think there was a mistake. I was like, well, Geraint Thomas isn't on the start list here? Because if you think about it, so he's not on the start list here. I also remember him doing well at this race last year.
Yeah, he did do well at this race last year. And if you'll recall, since he left his 2 weeks in the pub in mid-December, he's actually been on a ketogenic diet for, I think, 5 straight months to get ready to excel at this race. So I don't know. Maybe he went to altitude. Maybe he's doing altitude.
He did.
And heat training.
I guess
he said he was in altitude camp. Also, he did even talk about having to lose even. He just said, I think maybe it was in preparation for the Tour, that he'd need to lose even a few more kilos. I mean, if someone told me like in 3 weeks you need to lose 6 pounds, I mean,
just don't eat.
We got to wait for you to do it, Jonathan. We can talk offline.
But so he's going to, the thing I don't understand is he probably wants to put his best foot forward for his last Tour de France. And then, which are we sure this is this? He keeps being like, I think I'm going to retire. I think. I'm not convinced. So, but realistically, what's he going to achieve there? Not to sound too negative, but like, is he even going to be in the team leadership? He's just working for the team. I don't fully get that. Like, it seems like the Giro would have been a better way to make an impression, probably get a podium before you retire. So I don't totally get it, Andrew. I think he should be here.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to look at their team they've also released their team for the tour, I believe.
Well, so while you're looking that up, Spencer, another question I have about Ineos, is Ineos turning the corner? Do we expect anything from them at this Giro? Is Sir Dave going to show up and bring his gold dust in the car one day and get a stage win? Like, what's going to happen?
Did you listen to the second to last Geraint Thomas podcast?
I haven't listened to it. I've been saving it.
I did.
Pretty interesting. He basically was like, that was so stupid what we did at Liège. Like, I don't think that was a good idea, and I'm not totally sure why we did it. So,
I can't wait until
he was so critical of the two guys who went up the road, Foss and.
Well, I don't know if I totally disagree with him. Like, what are we doing? We're bridging 5-minute gaps of the breakaway? Like, that was crazy. That I just don't understand that that's the strategy they came up with.
No, again, he's probably absolutely right. I mean, he's got a good, a lot of experience, good mind for racing. But again, it's like the conflict of interest that he's dishing on his own podcast about dysfunction within the team.
2025, baby.
It'll be interesting in 2026 because he's going to move into a management role at Ineos, and then it actually will be his responsibility, and he'll own all of this stuff that he's criticizing. And he also won't be able to trash his team in public unless he.
Oh, I think
he'll find a way.
Unless, I mean, we also know that that's kind of a popular move on certain teams with certain owners and directors. So we'll see. Maybe he will.
The funniest thing he said was, was he talking about Josh Tarling? He was talking about one of the riders who said when Geraint Thomas turned pro, this guy was 1 year old.
I think who's that guy? He just won a stage, Sam Watson.
Oh, okay.
He's like, he looks like a kangaroo, mate. Well, that's not a very nice thing to say about somebody. Jeez. I'm sure he had a great time in Australia. Just getting called a kangaroo by his teammates. Supposed to be looking out for him. Andrew, I mean, how are you feeling about it? You're not feeling Ayuso? You're going Simon Yates over Juan Ayuso?
Well, I'm feeling that's a really good question. Yeah. Simon Yates, I think, could he beat Juan Ayuso?
He got blown out at Catalunya, which is concerning. But
yeah, I'm just saying, if I had to pick someone else from within Visma to win, not if we're looking at the full pool of competitors. Yeah. So if we're talking Yates versus Ayuso, I'm going with Ayuso. And I agree with Ayuso can be a bit of a soup sandwich. You know, maybe he's won the disaster, similar to Jasper the disaster. I don't know. And I think that we're trending in the direction of him getting things together and being a bit more buttoned up. And he's going to deliver one of these days soon, is what I think. So if I had to pick head-to-head Simon Yates versus Juan Ayuso, I'm going with Juan Ayuso. I think that things are coming into focus for him.
He may not make it to the finish line. So that's always I think I told you guys a story on the record where I still can't believe this. I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough because I've become a big believer in recent months of like some NFL player, someone asked him like, oh, how long does it take to realize if the quarterback's the guy or not? Is it half a season? Is it a season? He's like, it's 15 minutes. Like, the moment they walk into the locker room, if they're the guy or not. It sounds stupid. And it's like the Billy Bean Moneyball thing. I feel like a negative of that is it's totally ignored. That like you're a dude, you're not a dude. I know that sounds caveman-y, but a lot of time that is sports. It's like you're the guy, you're not the guy. And Juan Ayuso, stage 4 of the tour, is hiding at the back so he doesn't have to work. And then Tadej has to go back or say on the radio, "Get your fat ass up here and pull." That's a quote from someone in that group that told me that. So like if you're hiding in the back, like literally shrinking from the moment, I just don't know if you're ever going to be that guy. So that would be the case against Ayuso.
Well, how do we feel about that fat shaming? I don't think Juan Ayuso was overweight when that happened.
Cycling, baby.
looked pretty trim to me. I don't know.
That guy could lose 4 kilos for sure.
Yeah. Somebody pinch him at breakfast and find something out that we didn't know.
So if he falters, who do they work for?
Yeah, they don't have a lot. I mean, they have a really good team. If he falters, who do they work for? There is also, Adam Yates, I guess.
Yeah, Adam Yates.
But,
yeah.
But he's not had a good year. It's not a year of the Yates.
Yeah.
What was that?
I said McNulty.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you have to go 3 or 4 riders deep in your roster, who else are you going to pick? Is it going to be Filippo Baroncini?
No. I think the guy with the best name, and one of the best names besides your friend Taco Vanderhorn, Isaac Del Toro.
That is pretty good.
Great name.
Yeah. Not many Mexican. Do you guys ever think about this? Like, so huge country, largest Spanish-speaking country, I believe. Like, not many cyclists. They don't even really have a cycling federation. And then not many great soccer players, at least not ones that go abroad and leave Mexico and play. Like, how many world-class soccer players playing in Europe can you think? There's one guy, right? He plays for Fulham.
Right.
And that's it. Kind of strange, actually.
There was a writer on Discover Postal Service who was amazing. I'm trying to find his name. I can't believe I can't remember this guy's name.
The winner of the Tour de Trump, maybe both years, was a Mexican.
Was it
Raul Acuna? Was like,
yeah,
that guy's like he's the king of Mexico. He's the legend.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he was the first Mexican rider to win a stage of the Tour in '87, and of course, even more importantly, the Tour de Trump.
Tour de France, more like Tour de Trump. It could still be called Tour de Trump, the Tour de France. We should mention.
Never say never. Never say never.
This is I like that positivity. We're not going to touch that topic. All right. No. This splits this podcast right down the middle.
I just want to be part of the US stage 5. I just want to see that city is built Madeira. I think it's built on rocks. I mean, that's going to look incredible on television. It might not be a decisive stage within the Giro, but it's going to look really good.
I don't know. It actually might be because it goes. It's like a sneaky hard climb up to. I mean, if your city is built on rocks, it would suggest that you're pretty high up.
Yeah,
it is a hard climb and then descent and then climb to the finish. So that could be important. We should have mentioned Jay Vine on UAE. That would be another guy. That's probably the actual answer because Adam Yates has the name, Brandon McNulty has the talent, but Jay Vine is the recent success. I guess you could say success. He also did get dropped by Lorenzo Fortunato, which is concerning at Romandy, but he would be probably the best option if Ayuso doesn't do well. In reality, though, I think we're spoiled by, I don't know, like Jonas stepping into the role when Primoz crashes, but normally your leader crashes and you don't have much going on. There's like not much to salvage that.
Yeah.
Stage 5. We should talk about stage 1 for a second. So it might rain. This is classic Giro d'Italia. We get a 13K long climb in the middle of the stage. And then we get the same climb done twice in a really tricky technical circuit in Tirana. I don't know. We all love these towns. We vacation there all the time. So 7K long, 5%. That's not easy. Tom Pickard was saying, I think it's kind of like not hard enough. But the tricky thing is you do that climb, you descend straight back into the climb. So if you're dropped, it's going to be really hard to get back on. You descend into the finish, and if it's rainy, like we can see carnage. Stage 1 of the Giro d'Italia. Nothing's. Maybe they'll have to go through like a town square with some tables in the way. That's classic Giro right there. Albania is embracing it.
And you have you get rain on that day, and as we know in these types of circuits, you just have tire particles. You have diesel, as we saw in the Tour that one year. There was the olive oil incident. Remember that?
Well, hold on a second. So I think, so there's been a few of these. I'm glad you brought this up. So there was 2020 Tour. There was allegedly olive oil on the road. I don't know about that. I guess
it sounds like Looney Tunes when you say it out loud, right?
There was definitely a Giro stage that I've noticed this multiple times where there was a ton of crashes. And I swear it looks like there's soap suds on the road. Where it's like, who's putting the soap out there? Maybe they
one of the sponsors. I don't remember. When we were at the Tour, there was one. It wasn't Dawn. It was It was a French company, I assume, but they were tossing out packets of the soap, and Who knows what the kids would do with that? Just rip it open right there. Maybe there's candy inside, and then it's like there's soap on the road.
Yeah, like it's hitting the ground and then just exploding open.
Yeah. Or cars are running over it beforehand during the procession.
Yeah, that could be the answer. Look at that reporting, on the ground reporting. Here's a rider that I'm shocked Andrew's not mentioned. Nairo Quintana's at this race. 2-time Grand Tour winner, I believe. It's hard to keep track of Nairo and his rotating Palmares, but what do we think we're going to get from Nairo? Sneak sleeper win?
Yeah, let's take a look at what stage Nairo is going to win. I do think
did damn near win a stage here last year.
Yeah,
like one of the hardest stages.
That's his move. That's how he keeps a contract. So when we look at stages, maybe, I mean, here's my feeling about this. So Spencer, as you mentioned, the final week of this, maybe one of the hardest weeks we've ever seen in a stage race.
Really
and
hard.
what's continually happened, I think, in the past 5 years in particular with cycling 2.0, I mean, we may be at 2.1, 2.3 at this point. We're getting a bit of mix of Galacticos, up and comers. It's shifted, keeps shifting. It's a shapeshifter. And everybody's trying to top each other with like the most difficult final week possible. What we see sometimes is it ends up nullifying the action and it actually becomes really boring. And you do still get someone like Nairo who says, hey, everyone else is destroyed and this has kind of been neutralized. The race is already won for the GC, but this is, it's stage 20. This is when I'm going to go for it because I think everyone else is so destroyed and focused on the GC. This is my chance. So this is like classic Nairo. We'll typically see him do that long range attack and then try to carry it into the final climb. So if I'm Nairo, I'm looking at probably it's going to be stages 16, 19, or 20 would be my guess. I think that he is going to have a 3-minute gap and then he's going to end up getting beaten by 5 seconds. That's my call.
Which is basically what happened last year. So you're exactly right. It's so stacked in the back in the last week. Humans have a finite amount of energy, so it is a mistake organizers make. Like if the Vuelta is the hockey stick stage, which makes people race hard because there's only one climb, this is like the mini climb stage. But people can't go hard all the time, every day. Like they just have a finite amount of energy, so they go really, really. Like you could see a really boring race. Think of that Jai Hindley race. Like no one did anything until stage 20. Jai Hindley surged away, won the overall. The stage that I would circle for Nairo, stage 17. This stage has disappointment written all over it. You do the Motorola, which you think it sounds hard. Our friend Jack Burke has the KOM on it, but it's like 50K from the finish line. And then it's kind of rolling to the finish. So you'd think that's going to be probably a breakaway win. So I would say Nairo, that would be my pick for the Nairo Quintana win if that happens. Also, some troubling details on Nairo's health practices have been released recently. I don't want to say them because I won't get them exactly right, but it took a little bit of the shine off Nairo Quintana for me, I have to say.
I mean, Spencer, were you ever really bullish on Nairo?
Well, I would say the years, Chris Froome, I will say this, and this is no malice towards Chris Froome personally, my least favorite rider of all time. Like the Chris Froome years when he was winning the Tour, I was like, this sucks. I hate these tours. And then Nairo was our knight who was like threatening, but think about it. He was always like, he surged in the 3rd week. This thing was 4 weeks long. He'd win the Tour. It's like now we have information that probably tells us why he was so strong in that 3rd week. And I feel bad for reveling in Chris Froome's tiredness at the end of the race, knowing what he was competing against, most likely.
Spencer, I don't often think about minotropin, which is a female fertility drug that can stimulate production of testosterone in men. However, I think while we're talking broadly about Colombia, I am thinking about Miguel Angel Lopez, and I'm sure that you all saw that his appeal of his 4-year doping ban was dismissed yesterday. So he lost his appeal, and Miguel Angel Lopez is not going to be coming back to the World Tour, I don't think.
Bummer. I'm devastated. You have another guy. It's like, man, when it's real high, he does well because he's from Colombia. It's like, is that the reason?
Well, wait, so let's also talk about, like, not in the same light at all as Miguel Angel Lopez. We do have Egan Bernal on the Ineos team. Any chance that we see a return to form at the Grand Tours here for Egan Bernal? And JK Spencer, what are you expecting out of him, if anything? Is he still ramping up? Is he coming back from an injury? Like, where is he at?
Definitely ramping up, yeah.
Didn't he break his collarbone?
He did break his collarbone. Great info. So he was riding really well at Classic High End, like really well. Best I've seen him since the Giro d'Italia in 2021 when he won. Broke his collarbone. I mean, if you break your collarbone, though, it's like, you get surgery the next day and you're on the trainer 2 days later. Like, you can actually not lose that much fitness if you have access to surgery right away. So I don't know how much that disrupted him. And then the problem with Bernal is I don't know if he ever had the power to really compete in a modern peloton, because like he gets 7th at Catalunya, but I bet his power numbers at that 7th were on par with when he was winning the Tour in 2019. So
Yeah.
that's my concern, is that he just never, and he was, when he won the Giro here in 2021, he was really good, like really dominant, impressive win. But even then, think about it, like he's fading in the final few stages. Danny Martinez is like maybe stronger than him. When he won that Tour, when he doesn't win a stage, and he just kind of like was surviving into that win. And then now he's going against guys who are really strong. Like, think of like Juan Ayuso. So I just don't know. I mean, a podium here would be massive victory for him. And I don't know if that's out of the question. I don't know if I see the trajectory that would suggest that.
Is 236.5 bringing a team that can do a serious job of supporting Tom Pidcock?
They probably are bringing their team that they think is could best support him. But
yeah,
can they is another question. I mean,
I'm just looking at this list of riders, and granted,
some of these guys are good, though.
Milan Vader, that's like that. He's a hitter for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matteo Moschetti, he's probably their sprinter. And then Liepens, Emil Liepens, he's pretty good. He was on Trek Segafredo for a while. I don't know. I kind of like this team. Damian Housen, Mark Donovan, Mikel Asperzaren, I assume a Basque rider who I've never heard of.
That's what I'm saying. What do we expect out of Pidcock here?
Well, the team's focused, right? Because they have no other hope but doing well. So that's a positive. Yeah. The interview was weird. I thought that you sent that interview over yesterday. I thought that was strange. Like, that's not, I was just like, yeah, I'm focused. I'm coming into this race. I'm going to win stage 1. I'm going to take the pink jersey. That's the goal. Like, why would you, can't really put my finger on it, but he just seems to have a demeanor in his interviews that suggests he's not completely focused or doesn't have like full belief in himself.
Or he just doesn't know how to talk to the media.
Yeah, but it's not like he's awkward with the media and he's winning all the time. Like, where do you guys remember? It was like, I'm a one-day rider, screw stage races. Ineos was making me stage race. And then he just like no-shows Flanders. What?
Yeah, you also have to wonder, and granted, we definitely didn't see the entire story in the heart of the peloton, aka Unchained. It did look like what was going on behind the scenes at Ineos with Steve Cummings was appeasement and a gentle approach with Tom, and Tom's kind of shifting focus, his desire to be the center of attention and to just kind of do whatever he wanted. He now has an entire team that's built around this approach. And the thing that I wonder, given that the winner's strategy is the correct strategy and we are not seeing Tom win, is appeasement actually the correct strategy with Tom Pidcock, or does he need a team of people around him that help him take a different approach to bike racing?
Yes. The answer is yes. Will we see it? This is a curse of prodigies, though, right? Because you've been appeased since you were a baby. And then why would you change now? It's actually a really dangerous place to be in as an athlete, because it's not working anymore, but you can't accept instruction. I mean, if you think back to like Michael Jordan, he was kind of in this spot where he was amazing, could not win. And then if Phil Jackson doesn't come in, like these guys have someone comes in and a person comes in that can tell them what to do and they accept it, then it changes their career. But who's that person for Pidcock? I mean, I'm still personally just a little salty about the Steve Cummings thing. Like, Steve Cummings is a great guy, great writer, like super smart. And then Tom Pidcock got him fired because he didn't like Steve Cummings saying you have to focus on cycling to win the Tour de France. Pardon my French, but who the fuck do you think you are? Like, why would you not accept that very reasonable criticism? So I don't know. I don't expect great things from Tom Pidcock at this Giro. I think we've seen the best of Tom Pidcock. Do you guys feel free to disagree on that? But the more you think about it, the more you think it's not clicking. It doesn't click for him.
Well, that's Geraint Thomas's criticism on his show. It's always the people around Pidcock, his team.
Yeah. Andrew loves this. We are always speaking of this mysterious entourage, this group of backup dancers around Tom Pidcock.
Which apparently includes his brother, Joey.
I support. You got to do that. I mean, your mom's going to be pissed. You don't get your brother a job on the team. He has to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I just keep thinking about Robin Aaron in Game of Thrones and his moon door and seeing the people fly. And I mean, is it a coincidence? Let me just put this to you. Is it a coincidence that we've seen legendary NBA coach Greg Popovich retire at this moment when we know Tom Pidcock needs a new direction?
Well, consider he just had a stroke. He probably isn't up for the challenge, but yeah, maybe Pop's coming in.
Might be just what Tom Pidcock needs.
It is funny to think like Tom Pidcock going into an NFL locker room. Like, those places are, it's an intense place. I mean, maybe he needs to do like a sleepaway camp with an NFL team for a little bit to be put in his place.
Send him out with the Buffs. Send him out to Boulder, man. Toughen him up. Get him
that
on
could not be that could be the wrong message for him. It's gonna be good for Tom. But I don't mean maybe he's awesome at this race. But I'm gonna be honest, guys. I was a little disappointed with that spring. I just couldn't believe when he's still on Ineos and he's trashing Ineos at Ruler Live and saying they're the reason he's not awesome, and then you come out, you kind of lay an egg against the real competitions. Like, sure, you win the Alula Tour, awesome, man, but we're trying to be the best here. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. If you want to talk a game that big, it's crazy. Just to come out and then he kind of wants to skirt responsibility. I don't like it. I don't like that behavior.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, so much drama, so many subplots. It is kind of unfortunate that we can't have. I would love to see a Hard Knocks end season with one of these teams. And I know that these teams are kind of trying to do this with their behind the scenes footage from their YouTube channels. We see it with Race TV, with EF. UAE has one. Q36.5 has one. I think a big mistake that they're making is not being a bit more unvarnished with what they share. And Jonathan, I know you and I and Spencer talk about this all the time, and this is also why I started One Real Voice, my podcasting consultancy. I just like this high polish, constant deflection mode that, Jonathan, you and I deployed as communications professionals for years. It doesn't work anymore. You just have to get out there and tell the truth. And if you have an opinion, you should share it within reason. And the news cycle resets so fast. We're in a new era, and that's what's actually interesting. People want to engage with professional athletes, with people in power in a more real and unfiltered way. And this is a super hot take, and maybe we'll get to this when we talk about Traca and gravel. I think that the high polish influencer with the fantasy life, I think it's over. I think that we're going to see that totally implode, and I just don't think it's interesting at all anymore.
Well, we're at an hour, so get into your Traca now. Dump your Traca takes now. The plane has to land, get the fuel out over the ocean.
I feel like we might just want to keep talking about how we're going to get to Traca, and then we keep pushing it out, maybe a few episodes out from now. Jonathan, I know that the three of us, you probably followed it most closely. I think you watched the live stream for the 500. The Grubers were out there, Taylor Phinney, all kinds of former World Tour athletes. I heard that in the Girona area, like all bandanas were sold out. Like you couldn't buy a bandana that weekend. So
First we should give people context. The Track is a gravel race in Girona. I guess that's the context. Is that true though about the bandanas? Or are you making that up?
yeah, sold out. Couldn't get a bandana within 500 miles of Girona is what I heard.
Wait a second. Now that I've realized that the road to Damascus is paved with gravel and you need a gravel bike, which I now have, do I need a bandana? Because that's not my look, man.
You got to have it.
Of course I say that now. Like I said before, I'm never going to get a gravel bike, and here I have a gravel bike.
I don't know if I'd be riding to Damascus right now.
Yeah.
I would let that situation settle.
Yeah. We're going to let this comment slide, Jonathan, and think about whether we can invite you back on this podcast. If you're not ready to take up the bandana and tie it around your neck and, pretend that you have a need for it when you're riding a bike, I'm not sure that you're really cut out for this.
No, I agree with you. So I'm just asking, like, legitimately, do I need? I guess I need one.
Just like robbers in old time movies needed bandanas, you also need one.
Okay.
If you're going to ride a gravel bike. You need a BioRacer skin suit that's custom made for your body that costs $20,000 that Alex Dowsett custom fit to you. You need an Aero gravel bike, but it has to have 2.4-inch tires. And if you're smart, you'll ride a Lauf like I do because they make the best gravel bikes. And I know we're going to have a discussion about this on an upcoming episode. And in addition to that, no matter how aero you are, even if you're running like 10 centimeter bars, like people don't even know you have bars. You're just holding on to a stem and you've like super glued shifting buttons to your fingers.
Right off. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're actually holding the brake levers in your palms. You're still going to want to wear a bandana tied around your neck. You never know. Like you could have a dust storm. You might have to get on a stagecoach and rob some people. Like who knows what's going to happen out there in the 500K Traka.
Well, on the bars, actually, just quick. I went to Austin, did a ride. I had a borrow bike. I borrowed Lance Armstrong's second GS1, his backup GS1 gravel bike from Ventum. Rode it. I was like, I'll take it back to your house. And he's like, don't bother. Just take it home. So I now have this bike. Love this bike. This is a great bike. Ventum GS1. Can't recommend. I haven't not ridden my road bike since I got this bike. But Lance is like really wide bars, like to the point where you're like, whoa, this is really wide. But then I thought about it, like, how often does Lance Armstrong crash? And how often did he crash when he was racing? Yeah. Like maybe there is something, and you do have quite a bit of, you can maneuver quite well. So like maybe at the 10 centimeter bars, there is a downside to that and you can't steer and you shouldn't do it. But the serious question about Traka, I was like, I'd not heard of this race before 3 years ago, maybe. And now it seems to be the biggest event. And its big advantage is everyone lives in Girona, or Girona's easy to get to. So all these pros are there. All these influencers are there. Is this going to disrupt Unbound, Andrew?
It already has. This is just like everything else. It's like jazz. It's like the blues. It's like electronic music. All of these things were born in the United States and then they went to Europe, right? And if we think about marathon mountain bike racing, cross-country mountain bike racing, these are sports that originated in the United States. A lot of disputes about like what's the actual origin story of mountain biking. Was it happening at the turn of the century? Was it Gary Fisher and Tom Ritchie racing the repack on Mount Tamalpais? It seems to be American in origin. Americans dominated for a while, and then the locus of power shifted to Europe, and that's what we've seen happen now. And what's been interesting is this has happened. I'm making some jokes here about bandanas. I'll be honest with you guys. I've got a few bandanas here at my place. Kids and I'll put them on sometimes when we go down Loon Lane. And it is interesting that it's positioned as this alternative to racing, this mode of self-expression. There's like this whole cluster of art, electronic music, craft brewing, all these things that are kind of, we have a velour couch at the event, but at the end of the day,
get that couch.
Yeah, it's kind of like everything else where it's supposed to be a mode of self-expression, but it's become what I would call hot topicked, where you could just like go buy the outfit that you're supposed to wear and the bike that is the thing that you're expected to ride. And most people seem not to be electing to do things that are expressive. They're doing things that are like everyone else, which that's fine. Like that's how a lot of things work. But it's positioned though as this highly expressive, artistic kind of alternative to racing. And the thing that I don't get about it is we're very serious in race and train 40 hours a week. And hey, we're just here to have a good time. But
yeah, we're just here. You sit on the couch,
Yeah.
like you're a loser if you're trying to win.
Isn't that just if you don't win the race that you say that?
Yes.
I don't know. It's a bit confusing to me.
It's the Tom Pitcockification of gravel. Do you guys know who won the Traca?
I know that it was a Pas Normal rider. That's all I know. That's all I saw.
Mads Ward Schmidt, do you know he was on Israel Premier Tech last year? This is a road racer,
oh my
professional
God.
road racer, Danish national champion on the road 2021, world junior time trial champion 2015. This is a road racer who just won this race. So, I mean, this is I think the future of gravel. Like these guys are going to be winning all these gravel events.
Which I know that Sofia Gomez Villafañe won the women's Traca 200. Who won the men's, and which distance are you talking about? Because we have the 200, the 360.
The 200. We can't be doing these. This is my pet peeve with gravel. We just there's a distance. You can't. There's the Traca 7,000. It's like it's the 200. All right. If you want to ride longer, go on a little ride after the race.
Yeah, be Cam Wurf, right? Like go on your run after Paris-Roubaix.
I mean, they do these extra distances so people can be like, well, I can't beat Mads Ward Schmidt, so I'll just do the other race and then say I won that one.
You know what's funny is I can't even find the results right now, and I feel like I'm pretty good at finding results of bike races.
The 200 is on Pro Cycling Stats.
That tells you something, right?
Yeah.
Well, Spencer, what's your take on this?
On gravel or like the Traca?
No, just on the Traca and this panoply of distances.
It's absurd. It's the 200. It's one race. Have a race. I can't be following. What's the 500? What's the Unbound XL? Just like give us a race, okay? Don't give me a bunch of different distances. I got a lot going on. I got to do 15 freaking clicks to get through the Max app to have my race on. I'm not looking up Traca 750. No thanks.
Jonathan?
I'll take my cue from you on this one. But yeah, it would seem to make sense to keep it consistent.
I mean, they also want to sell a bunch of spots. Like as a business, it kind of makes sense because then you can sell the same product like to a bunch of different people. I guess.
I'm so confused. So I'm looking at Pro Cycling Stats. You're right. So we've got Sophia and Mads as the winners of the 200. We have Tobias Kongstad is the winner of the 360. They don't have the women's winner, and then they don't have the 500. So is the 500?
I think it's like a fun run or something.
It's 500 kilometers?
Yeah.
It's too long.
Jesus.
Yeah. Well, the objective is just to actually be on your bike permanently. Yeah. And in addition to that, they need to actually figure out perpetual energy source. So they're looking into cold fusion, not for the future of humanity, but so that gravel influencers always have battery for their Insta360 camera that they need to run while they're racing.
Well,
all right. I'm not going to be allowed.
You can hear my wife leaving her call to get the kids, so I do have to go. Do you guys have a favorite stage of the Giro you're looking forward to, or you've not studied the parcours that closely?
5, 9, 10.
Whoa.
And then 16 through 20.
I like
but
yeah, I'm most excited about stage 17. And if I just think that's going to be interesting. When we talked about Nairo, but I'm looking forward to that one. And while I did call a potential Nairo win on that stage, but a loss by 5 seconds, I really want to see Primoz like full telemark that stage. I hope that he brings out his previous telemark amulet gold. I want to see something that's like iced out. I want like a riffraff level amulet.
Well, he'll probably here's the bad news to pop everyone's bubble. Stage 20 is probably the one to watch because Primoz will just be poking around, winning a few stages, getting a little lead, and then he'll like win by 20 seconds on stage 20 and win the whole thing by a minute. So that's been the trend of the Giro in recent years. Stage 20 does look good. Will we see it? Probably not, because it will snow and we won't get to have it. So that's also the charm of the Giro to tell you. Stage 17, the big thing. I will be on pins and needles. Will Jack Burke's KOM be broken on that climb?
Yeah.
He's got to be sweating that. Are they even doing it the side he did it, I guess, is the other question. But
well, I mean, the other question is, does it even matter? Was Jack at Traca?
No. So you're nothing. You're nothing if you're at Traca. If you're not at Traca, I don't know though. Will the tides turn? And then the big move will be to not go to these races, to not spend thousands of dollars to go to these races.
I guess the one thing that surprised me about going through the stages on the Giro website was the amount of small sections of cobbles that they'll encounter.
There's a lot, actually.
Yeah. I mean, stage 10, at 500 meters, riders hit cobblestones that continue until the last corner. Final straight is 200 meters on a 6-meter wide asphalt. It's like 18 feet across. That's crazy.
That's enough for an 18-wheeler. Yeah. I mean, take a big rig up that if you grew up on a farm, Jonathan.
I got skills when it comes to driving. I don't think so.
There are like roads around in Italy, and you think this is a bike path, and then there's a semi truck coming at you.
Right. Yeah.
It is. The roads are not big, and I mean, gravel stage on stage 9. What will happen? I don't know. That's usually a breakaway, I guess, winning that stage in Siena. But then gravel climb on stage 20. I mean, I'm hesitant to talk about these mountain stages because you just don't know if you're going to get them. Trying to run is this year at the wrong time of the year? I guess is my parting question to both of you. Does this make any sense? They do it in May?
Probably. I mean, based on last year, right? And then which year? One year it rained and all the rides were freezing every day. That was probably the year Derek G had the 4 second place finishes.
Yeah, that was exactly that year.
So I mean, if they moved it 2 weeks up, it'd probably be.
I kind of think they should switch with the Vuelta.
Yeah, I think it should switch with the Vuelta, and I think the strategy of just move your national stage race to another country for like half of the race, which we've seen with other races. Like, you can just do that as well. I mean, why do we have to finish the Tour of Italy and Rome? Like,
yeah, why do it in the Alps?
I don't know. Let's go to Monaco. Yeah.
And do you remember in 2015 there was talk about having the first few stages of the Giro here in Washington D.C.?
Well, okay, I have a lot of thoughts about that. So first, we should say, if anyone's asking why are they doing this in Albania, it's because Albania is paying them a bunch of money. They do these foreign starts because they get paid a bunch of money. It's very good. Washington, D.C. probably doesn't have the cash right now to be thrown around to get this Giro.
10 years ago it did.
It would be so... That's why we're in this problem, Jonathan. We were spending money without paying attention to it. But it would be so depressing because it would be like eaten up by that city. Would people even know it was going on? Like nothing makes me sadder than when a bike race is in a big city and it just gets clobbered by that city.
Yeah.
Oh, all that turns into is people complaining about how they can't get to Whole Foods.
No traffic.
Like, I couldn't get my Rivian to Whole Foods. There were the marathon runners. I need to get to the Flatirons.
Like, yeah, the Giro should never visit a city of more than like 200,000 people. That's the cap. Because it would be so sad to see it in Washington, D.C. Oh my God.
I'm just going to throw this out there. I know that I'm going to talk to Lauf about this. I'm hoping that we can get out to Aloha Gravel, which Lauf is sponsoring out in Hawaii. I'm wondering if this funky bunch, where else should we potentially go this year? If you're out there and you're listening, you're an event organizer, maybe you're Gravel Worlds, Ragbri, unfortunately, off the table. I think that would be a prime location to do some live podcasting. And
isn't that like during the Tour de France?
I'm saying, unfortunately, off the table because Spencer is going to be in Aspen up there getting a custom cowboy hat at that one shop. What else is out there in the remainder of the season? Where do you want to see us? Do you want to bring us to your town? You can reach out to us, hit Spencer up via his newsletter, or you can always reach me at Hardway Pod. If you want to bring us in, just a heads up, we do fly private. No, we will not get on a helicopter. And yes, we will accept custom bandanas. If you have them, don't expect us to always wear them unless we're robbing a stagecoach.
We are supposed to be at the Tour of Tucson. That's November 22nd. So
yeah. Main stage appearance.
I'll at least be there by myself, sad. So please come.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyone listening. Aloha Gravel, tough. It's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Oof, that could be a tough one. But
It's a great time to be thankful.
We'll make it work. Jonathan, parting thoughts? Wait, what races are you going to be at this year as a journalist?
Well, that's up in the air. I mean, I was easily. I mean, the best one is the Maryland Classic. It's right here.
The best,
and it's happening.
Are you going to be racing, Jonathan?
Sure. In the, I don't know if they're having a Grand Fondo right before then as part of it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's important that we share at this point that during the Beyond the Peloton by Choose the Hard Way by Riding with JK offsite in Tucson, Jonathan, I don't believe you got within 5 feet of a wheel, and I don't think you got a draft. On like in 300 miles of riding.
Kip helped me.
But, I mean, no.
You guys are fast.
But you've recently revealed to us you're actually a high-level criterium racer and extremely comfortable in like getting argy-bargy, like a lot of contact. So I am curious to see like what you do at the Maryland Classic now with those skills.
Sure. Those last few loops around the city, I'll be right there in the front.
Watch out, Scott McGill.
Yeah, Scott is sweating. I don't know if this conflicts with the Maryland Classic, but something you should think about. We should all should think about GP Quebec, GP Montreal.
It's next week. It's the following week. Definitely want to go to those two.
Yeah. But are you going to be Tour de France this year?
That's up in the air.
All right.
I got to figure that out sooner than later. I know.
He knows. He knew that we were about to put him on blast for not having that planned. All right. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the Giro, everyone. Goodbye. We shall talk next week.